All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a question that I know is on a lot of your minds, especially if you're a growing company. When you look at security certifications like ISMS, you're probably asking yourself, is it still too early for us?
Sound familiar? Yeah, I hear this phrase all the time. And you know what? It's a totally fair question. It makes sense. You're busy building a business, you're focused on shipping your product, and tackling a formal security framework can feel like this massive, intimidating thing that you're just not ready for yet.
I bet some of these thoughts have crossed your mind. We're just too small right now. Or, we don't have the headcount for this. Or maybe it's just, look, we're just trying to keep the lights on and run the business. And hey, those are all completely valid points. But what if that's not the whole picture?
So instead of just accepting this idea that it's too early, I want us to do something different. Let's reframe the entire conversation. Because the old rules for deciding when to start, well, they might not really apply anymore.
Think about it. When we say too early, what are we actually measuring that against? Are we talking about our number of employees, our annual revenue, how many years we've been around? My argument here is that these old yardsticks, they just aren't the right way to measure risk in today's world.
Now here's an idea that might sound a little backward at first. What if being small isn't a weakness here? What if it's actually your single biggest advantage when it comes to security? You might be surprised by this, but I have seen so many companies with just 30, 50, even 80 employees not just get certified, but successfully run their security programs day in and day out. This isn't some rare thing. It happens all the time. They really can and do make it work.
And the reason why is actually pretty simple. Small teams are just incredibly nimble. Decisions can be made in a single meeting, not over a whole quarter. Communication is direct. You literally just walk over to someone's desk. And when you need to introduce a new rule or a new process, it spreads like wildfire, organically, because you don't have layers and layers of bureaucracy to fight through. You can just get things done.
Okay, now we're getting to the real heart of the matter. The way we think about risk is fundamentally shifted for everybody, and it's all because of one huge change, the cloud.
This slide really says it all. The old way of thinking was simple. Big company, big risk. Small company, small risk. That equation is completely obsolete now. The new reality is that your risk is directly tied to how much you use the cloud. It's not about headcount anymore. It's about your digital footprint.
I mean, just pause and think about the tools your company uses. A 5-person startup today is very likely using the exact same powerful enterprise-grade tools as a 5,000-person corporation. The same cloud platforms, the same email systems, the same file sharing, the same chat tools. The cloud is the great equalizer of risk.
So here's the bottom line. One simple mistake. A single misconfigured setting in your cloud service. One employee account that gets compromised, that can cause a massive, serious incident. It doesn't matter if you have 10 employees or 10,000. The risk is the same. This means thinking about security early isn't just a nice to have, it's a real-world necessity.
Okay, so right about now, you might be nodding along, but also thinking, I get it, but I'm completely overwhelmed. I have no idea where to even start. Well, I have some great news. Your first step has nothing to do with certification or complicated frameworks. It's actually just about asking a few really basic questions.
And before we get to those questions, let's just reset our expectations. The goal of security management is not to be perfect. It's not about building an impenetrable fortress. It's simply about making your risks visible, so you can all agree on a plan. It's about knowing what you have that's valuable and figuring out who does what if something bad happens. That's it.
So let's start right here. Question number 1 is simple. What kind of information are we actually dealing with? Is it customer data? Is it financial info? Is it our secret recipe, our intellectual property? Just start by making a list. All right, good. Now for question number 2. Where's all that important stuff live? Is it on a specific cloud server? Is it inside a certain SaaS tool you use? Is it spread out across everyone's laptops? You're basically just drawing a map to your own treasure.
And finally, question 3, which is maybe the most important one of all. If something does go wrong, a data breach, a ransomware attack, whatever, who's in charge? Who gets the call at 3 a.m.? Is it the CEO, the head of engineering? Just deciding on who that person is, that alone is a huge step forward.
And that's your starting point. Seriously. By just thinking through those 3 questions and making the answers clear to everyone on your team, you've already taken a massive, incredibly valuable first step. So let's flip this around for a second. What happens if you wait? What's the real cost of putting this off?
Well, the problem with trying to do security just in time is that it almost always turns into too little, too late.
Because the moment you suddenly need to have your security figured out is never a calm moment. It's when a huge potential client says they won't sign unless you pass their audit and they need it done by next week. Or it's when you get an acquisition offer and suddenly you're under a microscope in due diligence. Or worst of all, it's when you've already had a breach. And in those situations, you have no time, no extra budget, and absolutely zero room for error.
So let's bring this all home. The point of all this isn't to scare you into rushing out to get certified tomorrow. It's about helping you shift your entire mindset from being reactive and panicked to being proactive and calm. It's about learning to ask a much better question.
This right here, this is the main thing I want you to remember. It's not that you're too early. It's that thinking early just makes everything, and I mean everything, so much easier later on. Every small thing you do now pays off tenfold down the road. So I'm going to leave you with a new question to think about. I want you to completely stop asking, is it too early for us? And from now on, I want you to start asking this instead. What's one thing we can prepare now so we don't have to scramble and panic later? Answering that question, that is the real beginning of your security journey.